Tez.
Welcome to the TezDown. Welcome.
Find me, Tez.
Mic check 1 2. Welcome. Welcome to the TezDown. Party time. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, research, education, and parody. Under this act, fair use is permitted use of copyrighted content that might otherwise infringe on the exclusive rights of copyright holders. The TezDown podcast is a platform for entertainment and education. Edutainment, a blend of education and entertainment, emphasizes content that informs while it entertains. The views expressed in this channel's commentary do not necessarily reflect or represent the views of the hosts, and may not always reflect the complete or verified accuracy of information presented. All content, including commentary, analysis, and discussion, falls within the legal parameters of fair use. We make no claims to ownership of any third-party content. This is the TezDown. Sports unscripted, culture unfiltered. Thank you for understanding.
In my time,
Congress,
you don't get to talk.
lumber is at a
Reclaiming my
5-year
time.
low, Congresswoman.
Reclaiming my time.
You don't want zero problems, big fella.
Yeah. Everything I do fire. Dropped the best 2 albums in 17. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Yeah. Hungry, but I ain't starving though. Had to be before cardio. Lyrical exercise, cardio. Getting paid off of audio. Paid around ain't a lot of bucks. Watch your head, baby, got a duck. Cuz I pulled up in the Audi truck, say upgrade to a Ferrari truck. Everything I do is straight smoke. 5 albums, that's chain smoke. About my green like the 8th smoke. About to cruise, turn some cake ghost. In corporate America with my hoodie on. They looking at me like I'm Trayvon. Better watch what you say wrong for your suntan turn spray on. On the Star Trek, watch them clean gone. For the sack chases, I'm Ray Charles. $1,000 for a feature verse. For Fendi Frost, there's no charge. I threw my hands some braids. She said she like me with waves. Then fell in love with the braids. Everything I do is a wave. Thinking that you hit a lick, you better pray for you pray. Boy, I ain't nobody stain. You cannot get me a praise. I know a kid that's from my city named Clay that won't give me no plays. When I'm up 60 million in the mansion, they know that they made a mistake. Oh, ain't got no love for your neighbor. It's like Zach Morris trying to hate on Slater. It's like Carlton hating on Will. It's like Brutman hating on Gina.
Yeah, welcome to the TezDown. And we about to Tez some downs today, y'all. Now, there's a whole lot of stuff that is going on, but number one, I want to say thank you to everyone that has subscribed to the TezDown. I honestly did not expect this, and I'm not overwhelmed, but I don't really know what to do. So you guys have been amazing. You guys have been awesome. All of the people who have shared my stream, all of the people who have continued to push forward and watch me on this stream every single day, I appreciate you. No matter who comes in, there isn't going to be, no matter who comes in, there isn't going to be a way for me to not forget about you guys. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. There's a lot of people coming in. You guys are watching old videos. You guys are watching shorts. And I just really appreciate it a whole lot. So thank you for doing what you have done for the TezDown. Thank you for doing what you have done for me. I greatly appreciate it. And I really want to make sure that we can get things moving in the right direction for the future. So things aren't going to be changing. They're not going to be changing. I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing. That seems to be what's working. And y'all have been good. He said, bro, so glad you made it to the live. Roman Robertson. 9672 said, between you and Classic, it's like talking at a family reunion. Bro, I trust your conversations you bring. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I try to bring the realest conversations to the people. I really do. I try to bring the things that actually matter to us, the things that we're actually worried about and concerned about, and the things that actually are going to help us move forward in our society, because our society is crumbling in a way, and it's not okay. It's not safe. It isn't safe for anybody, and it's definitely not safe for people who are against me. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely not safe for people who are against me.
Him. Why not me? He's good. You're not. I'm better than him. You're worse.
And they are. They are. So, I want to say again, thank you. I appreciate it. You guys that have been here since day one, y'all have been great. Make sure y'all hit the like and subscribes. I mean, the subscribes are going crazy. I was not expecting this at all, y'all. Like, I've had like 1,000%, 3,000% increase over the last couple of days, and it's just it's a lot. It is. It is a lot. I think I'm gonna have to play some music to get past this. Y'all think I should play some Joy? Y'all want to hear some Joy before we get going? We could. I love that girl's music. It is fantastic. And so let's get into it today, guys. The title of today's show is They Don't Know What They're Doing. Because they don't know what they're doing. They have no idea what's going on. Every single day, we come in here and we talk about what these people have done and what they're doing. And today, we're going to talk about it a little bit more. Let's get our first video out the way. Why don't we do that? It is going to be 80-year-olds can't govern. They can't. They're horrible. They make it more difficult for us each and every single day. We're going to tap in with Takes by Jamel Bowie.
Politics has more or less been dominated by what you might call the gerontocracy. The current president, Donald Trump, is pushing 80. The previous president, Joe Biden, was over 80, and then Trump before him was in his mid to late 70s. Chuck Schumer, the Senate Minority Leader, is in his 70s. Much of the Senate Democratic leadership, in fact, is on the older side. And prior to Pelosi stepping down, that was the case for the House Democratic leadership as well. Hakeem Jeffries is a relatively young man. The top Republican lawmakers were largely in their late 60s and 70s. And looking ahead to a House Democratic majority, there are going to be members serving in quite powerful positions who are quite aged. California represents.
So here's one of the issues. If you are so old that you have nothing in common with the two generations that are making most of the decisions and comprise the majority of the workforce, you're making laws and rules for people that you don't understand. You're making laws and rules for people who have nothing in common with you. And once that starts, you start making laws and rules that don't make any sense to the people who are supposed to be profiting from it. Our lives are not supposed to get harder as they aged. Instead, they have kept all of everything for themselves and continue to make our quality of life lower, so they can live, I don't know, longer, more prosperous, more profitable lives. But the cost is the youth. The cost of the millennials and Gen Z. And I think in this video, he's going to lay it out a little bit, and I'm going to talk about it too. But I don't want to stop him from doing his thing the way that he is, because he lays this out pretty eloquently. And I think you guys should hear it too.
Representative Maxine Waters is 88 years old and poised to lead the House Financial Services Committee. 88 years old. Now, the claim I'm going to make here is not that older people have no role in American politics. I don't think that's the case at all. But it is very unusual to see this many basically post-retirement age people in so many positions of authority and power. Looking back at past eras of American politics, you had prominent people who were relatively young, in their 40s and 50s, not necessarily their 60s and 70s. The idea of trying to recruit a 78-year-old to run for a Senate seat, which is what Chuck Schumer did with Janet Mills in Maine, would have been inconceivable 30, 40, 50 years ago. American politics was just younger overall. So much so that people who don't read as particularly old, like say Dwight Eisenhower in 1952, were considered to be kind of unusually older for the period. There's a big controversy over Reagan being an aged president, and these days Reagan seems young and spry compared to our...
I believe he was in his late 40s. Roman Arrow Benson. Or Ramon Arrow Benson. What's up, Cassie? How you doing? Go for sugar. What's up, Cassie? Hey.
most recent presidents. Now, there are practical considerations to having a political class and political leadership that is disproportionately quite aged. Some of those practical concerns are just the ability to do the job. That was certainly a key question with Biden, and I think it's a key question with Trump as well, although it's not been as salient in discussing Trump's administration. But it's clear just watching the guy at any point that he may not be up to the rigors of being president if he ever were to begin with.
Offenses or deadly accidents. Our work, however, has not just been about arrests.
But I think there's this other problem as well, this somewhat less concrete but still very important problem. And that is when you have a leadership class who became acculturated to American politics, who became acculturated to a political life decades before the point at which they're currently serving, who enter the heights of power many, many decades into their careers. And they have a set of ideas about the way that politics works, about the way the country works, and so on and so forth. When you have that, what you can get, I think, is a calcified political system, a political system that is not flexible enough to deal with the challenges as they are. I think that this is one of the major problems facing the Democratic Party. That so much of its political leadership comes from an earlier age of American politics, the 80s and the 90s in particular, and is responsive to a set of ideas and concerns and the like that are just not operative in the present. Biden's belief that he could forge some bipartisan path is very much the product of someone whose formative years in American politics were the 1970s and 1980s, when you could do bipartisan politics, when politics was easily bipartisan. I think it's clear to so many honest observers of American politics that the system of American politics is broken in fundamental ways and needs major reform. But one of the obstacles to that is that I think so many American politicians have this vision of the American system as basically fine, a view they developed during those decades when it did work basically fine, when the public did largely revere the Supreme Court, when elections weren't these existential struggles. To quote my absolute favorite line from The Wire, which I'm rewatching right now and may do a video about, they want it to be one way, but it is the other way.
You want it to be one way. What? You want it to be one way. Man, I don't want it to be one way. Stop.
You want it to be one way. Maybe I should get this clip too.
So what is to be done about all of this? Despite my obvious discomfort with the gerontocracy, I don't think we should have term limits. I think term limits are counterproductive. They're counterproductive wherever they've been tried on the state level. They impede the development of expertise in legislatures. They empower lobbyists who end up being the only people who can develop real legislative knowledge and expertise and the like. They produce a culture of office surfing, people moving from place to place, searching for the next office. They don't really encourage people to stay and grow with a district. They try to write political ambition out of the system itself, when I think one of the great insights of James Madison, the architect of much of the American political system, is that ambition has to be harnessed, has to be used for productive ends.
Yeah.
So I'm not so certain about term limits. I think people should be allowed to elect whomever they want, however long they want. And that is going to mean that we have these older members of Congress, maybe the occasional older president. But I do think that the political parties should be much more aggressive about instituting something like age limits. I think the political parties, the people who vote in presidential primaries and congressional primaries, should shy away from elevating to these highly demanding offices people in their 70s and their 80s. I think that the members themselves should take it upon themselves to retire, to leave, to understand that they are not indispensable, and to trust that voters and their allies and their supporters can get on.
So this is one of the main issues. I like that you said this. I promise if you remove term limits now, and Trump gets back in office, it's going to get nasty. Well, that's one of the things they're trying to do. That's part of the legislation that they're trying to do right now, is to amend the law so that he can run again. They're trying to do that right now. They're trying to get rid of a system that we've had in place for years right now. I mean, it's been, 50 years this system's been instrumented. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's one of the positions that needs to have a term limit. Now, there are state and local positions that I don't think need term limits, and I think that's more or less what he's trying to describe. I don't think he's talking about at the national level. I think that the national level, term limits need to stay where they're at or get smaller.
Without them. But I do think that this isn't something you can necessarily engineer through changing the rules. I think it's going to have to involve new norms of behavior. And one of those norms of behavior will have to be, hey, I'm 75, I'm 80, I'm going to retire. I'm going to leave office and open it up for someone new and someone younger. The average age in the Senate shouldn't be creeping up into the 70s, right? A 55-year-old shouldn't be considered a young member of Congress.
Who do you think knows more about what's going on in the street? A 75 to 80-year-old or somebody who's 30, 35? I think a 35-year-old person knows a little bit more about what's going on in the streets than a 75 or an 80-year-old person, especially because most of the 75 or 80-year-olds aren't on the streets.
The other thing I'd say, just thinking in very practical terms right now, is that I think the American public is hungering for younger leadership, for leadership that is much more vigorous. I'm always struck watching videos of Obama or a president before
Yes,
him,
yes,
Bill
there
Clinton,
is an early
or
age
even
limit.
W, younger men when they took office. But watching them interact with the public in really vigorous ways, right? They're out there, they're glad handling their greeting, doing all that, which is something that is, I think, really appealing politically to a lot of Americans, and something we haven't seen much of in recent American politics. And I do think that the next president is probably going to be quite a bit younger than the past two presidents, and that there's going to be a real electoral bonus, you might say, to the ticket that can project youthfulness and vigor and a kind of excitement that I think people are looking for. So if you are a Democrat or a Republican thinking strategically, you might want to find younger people to be on the ticket. But just in general, youth isn't everything, that's true. But it's not nothing either. And while age is something to be valued, it shouldn't be the only value.
Like that's a huge issue right there too. We're talking about the ages of these people as if that's not a problem. Think about all of the old people that you know in society right now. Do you trust 85-year-old drivers? Would you trust an 85-year-old construction worker? Probably not. So why are we trusting these same people to make all the decisions for everyone else in our country? We shouldn't be doing that. And this is not just an American problem. This is prevalent across the world. Yesterday, well, the day before yesterday, we talked about oligarchy a little bit. This has a lot to do with that. The people who are the oldest generally have the most money, but they engineered it that way. But as I say all the time, we're coming to take it one way or another.
I'm not sure that the country has done well I'm not sure that the gerontocracy has done well by the country. And I'd like to try something newer and younger.
Okay, what if I told you that there's an entire...
So, I mean, we're going to talk about it. So, what happens when everyone under the age of 45, let's just say 80% of the people under the age of 45 are still under the thumbs of the octogenarian? They're out of touch. They're old. They lived in a time where things were different, and they want to impose those rules and those laws on us. How do we affect it? How do we change it? How do we get it done? Well, we have to start showing them and other people what we lost because they kept it. McKinnon says, what does an 80-year-old person know about what it's like to live in the current country as a 30-year-old? Most elderly could not be parents in today's world. They would break. And that's the thing. Being a parent, you understand, being a parent, I understand it is not easy as it used to be a parent. We're talking about daycares costing as much as a mortgage or rent. We're talking about $1,000 a week for daycare. So that's $4,000 a week just on daycare so you could go to work. And that's if you have a good enough job to pay that much. That means you have to make twice as much at work to be able to afford daycare. Well, most people don't make twice as much at work because you have to be able to afford daycare and where you live. Unless you're communal living or unless you have two incomes in your house. And we already did the two-income household this week, last week, actually, on Thursday. We already did the two-income household myth and how they've defeated us by giving us two-income households. So my income's going to go to paying the bills. Your income's going to go to paying childcare. So basically, we're going to work just to pay for childcare. And then if we work opposite schedules, we don't see each other because one of us is at home with the kids all day. So that breaks up our relationship even more. So it's like we've been stuck in a trap. These are the things that we have lost that the millennials, not the millennials, that the boomers and Gen X kept. They kept our free time.
World of opportunities, of securities, and, well, life experiences that existed just a few decades ago. But for today's generation, they've completely vanished. I'm talking about things that are so fundamental to building wealth, to living comfortably. Things our parents just took for granted. But for millennials, I mean, these opportunities they're as extinct as the dinosaurs.
Exactly, McKinnon.
So today, we're going to uncover the shocking truth about what baby boomers got that millennials will, well, probably never have. And, trust me on this, by the end, you'll get it. You'll understand exactly why the American dream looks so different today. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal will completely change how you think about generational wealth. Let's start with the most brutal reality, housing costs. You see, baby boomers entered the housing market during what we can only call the golden era of affordability. Here's the mind-blowing truth. Home prices have skyrocketed over 1,045% since 1973. That's not a typo, over 1,000%. Back in the 1970s, boomers could buy their first home for around, what, $11,900? Adjusted for inflation.
Imagine that. Imagine buying your first home completely fine, and it's only $11,900. Is there anybody in here today that has bought a home for $12,000? A fully functioning home for $12,000 that wasn't a fixer-upper? Anyone in here? Anyone in the building? No? Okay, just making sure. Let's see what the adjusted inflation price is and why, when you adjust inflation for this money compared to what people are making today, why this is a problem. And the people who are driving it up just happen to be the exact same people that we're talking about.
That's roughly $98,000 in today's money. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. The median home value today, over $210,000. That's more than double what boomers paid, even when adjusting for inflation. But wait, it gets worse. Millennials buying their first home today will pay 39% more than boomers who bought in the 1980s. Think about that for a moment. We're not just talking about inflation here. We're talking about a complete structural change in how accessible home ownership has become. And here's something most people don't realize. Boomers didn't just get cheaper houses, they got better mortgage conditions too.
Yes, they did.
While interest rates fluctuated, wages actually kept pace with housing costs back then. Today, wages have been completely left behind, making it virtually impossible for first-time buyers to break into the market. The result? Well, millennials are waiting longer, saving more, and a lot of times just giving up entirely on home ownership. What boomers considered a natural step into adulthood has become, for millennials, a luxury item. Now let's talk about something that boomers experienced but millennials can barely imagine: true job security and pension benefits. See, boomers entered a workforce where lifetime employment wasn't just possible, it was expected.
It was the norm.
Companies invested in their employees long term, offering defined benefit pensions that, guaranteed retirement income for life. These weren't just benefits, they were promises that companies actually kept. Here's what's completely disappeared: the traditional pension system. Boomers could work for one company for 30 years, knowing they'd retire with a guaranteed income stream. Today, good luck finding a company that even offers a pension plan, let alone one you can count on for 3 decades. Instead, millennials got the 401k system, which, essentially shifted all retirement risk from companies onto individual workers. You're now responsible for choosing investments, timing markets, and just hoping you've saved enough. It's like being forced to become a financial expert just to retire. But here's the kicker that really shows the difference. Boomers often had multiple safety nets. Social Security was more robust, pensions were guaranteed, and many had retiree health benefits. Millennials? We're told to be grateful if we get basic health insurance and maybe a company match on our 401k.
And let me tell you, that doesn't happen. Not often.
Let's examine one of the most dramatic shifts between generations: the cost of education and what it meant for career prospects. Boomers paid an inflation-adjusted average of just $3,519 for public college tuition. Today's millennials, a 177% increase. That's a staggering $9,750. Private college costs have exploded by 158%, jumping from around $13,600 to over $35,000. But here's what makes this truly devastating. Boomers could literally work their way through college. A summer job could pay for tuition. A part-time job during school could cover living expenses. They graduated with little to no debt and immediately entered a job market that valued their degrees. Millennials, on the other hand, we're graduating with an average of over $30,000 in student loan debt, and that's just for public universities. Many are carrying 6-figure debt loads before they've even started their careers. And here's the cruel irony. Boomers got affordable education when college degrees weren't absolutely required for middle-class jobs. Millennials, we pay premium prices for education when degrees have become the bare minimum requirement for entry-level positions. We're paying...
Imagine this, the world that we are living in right now. I know people who have masters and doctorates who have trouble getting jobs, entry-level jobs, because even when you get the education, you have to go ahead and get the experience. How are you going to get the experience? This is why I keep telling you that it was all a trap from the very beginning. They laid the trap for all of us, millennials and Gen Z and now Gen Alpha, and we bought it hook, line, and sinker. Gen X didn't buy it. Gen X was rebellious. Gen X did whatever they wanted, but when they got older, they started wanting to be like their parents. And that's why we're struggling. We are all struggling because we had to deal with Gen Z and Gen X and the baby boomers who sucked up all the wealth and decided that we weren't allowed to have any. That's what's going on right now. So if you guys haven't hit the like and the subscribe, go ahead, hit the like and the subscribe. I mean, it's going to help no matter what. Push that algorithm, guys. It's got a hold of us right now. So that's a good thing. As long as it's got a hold of us, let's push it to the max and let's make the TezDown everyone's afternoon show. But it really starts to grate on you a little bit. It really does. Let's catch up on these comments. McKinnon said, I bought a shed for $12,000. Yeah, a shed right now costs as much as a 4-bedroom house did when the baby boomers bought their homes. And they're selling their houses that they bought for $12,000 for $400,000. We did this the other day, if you guys remember. We showed you how much the house cost when they bought it versus, and that was only in 2005 compared to today. The house has gone up 7 times the value since 2005. So imagine houses that were bought in like the 1970s, 1980s that were brand new that are being sold now for $400,000 and $500,000 that haven't had any upgrades since then. This is a real big issue. Romanero Benson said, I stay with my mom. I don't blame you because it probably costs you less to do so. McKinnon said, they are so rare and they damn sure don't last 7 weeks. They're going because they're unsafe. Yeah, they're usually about a week or two now. The summer camps are pretty much done for. McKinnon said the world gets worse the world gets worse every day. Classic's in the building, y'all. What's up, Classic? How you doing, man? As always, when you show up, got to make sure I go ahead and give you your tag. Ain't nothing wrong with that. What's up, man? Romanero said, what up, Classic? Said, are you expecting another housing market collapse? Absolutely. The entire, and all of the industries are collapsing right now, and the other countries are not messing with us. Last night, the president decided that he wants to be done with NATO. Being done with NATO puts an embargo upon the United States. That means that nobody's going to mess with us. None of the allies. The allies are going to, well, except Israel, but maybe Saudi Arabia, maybe the UAE, which isn't the worst thing in the world. But we need the other allies because the majority of our trading is being stopped up right now. It includes China. Because we back Taiwan and China wants it back. Taipei as it's called right now, but China wants it back, guys. McKinnon said, I am expecting a consumer spending collapse due to jobs being evaporated. Yeah, the jobs are going away at a record pace, including entry-level jobs such as stores. Like if you go to the malls are gone, the malls are quickly fading. There's not that many of them left. And then the outdoor malls are starting to fade too. So we have a twofold problem. So it went from the outdoor promenade style malls and the indoor malls leaving first. It's just getting crazy. It's just getting crazy. Shout out to Ramon. What's up? So, I mean, we can finish this up a little bit. Let's keep going.
More for something that's worth less in the job market. Now, here's something fascinating that goes beyond money. Boomers got to experience and shape cultural revolutions that millennials can only read about in history books. They witnessed firsthand the birth of rock and roll, the civil rights movement, the space race, Woodstock, the complete transformation of American culture. They weren't just observers, they were the driving force behind these massive changes. Think about this. Boomers got to see the Beatles live for $8. That's about $35 in today's money. Today, millennials pay hundreds, sometimes thousands, just for decent concert tickets. The Rolling Stones charged $8 for tickets in 1969. By 2013, the average price was $624. But it's not just about concert prices. Boomers experienced a time when counterculture actually meant something, when young people could genuinely challenge and change societal norms. They had drive-in movies, genuine community gatherings, and entertainment experiences that brought people together instead of isolating them behind screens. If you're finding this eye-opening, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss content like this.
So what are we gonna say, guys? What are we gonna say? Let's keep it moving for a little bit. Like, what are we gonna say? Are we gonna sit back and allow for our society to disappear because they're just destroying it because they're greedy? Or are we gonna do something about it? I, for one, want to do something about it. And I'm not talking about just voting. I'm talking about making a fundamental change to things. I'm talking about stop listening. There's nothing they can do if we stop listening. Y'all do realize that, right? See, here's the thing about submission. If you're going to submit to anything, you have to agree to submit. You have to say, I'm going to submit. What are they going to do? Lock you up? Lock all of you up? 13, 14, 15, 16. There's not enough space in the jails to lock up 25 million people. 30 million people. There's not enough jails. There's not enough space in the jails. They don't have enough personnel to do so, especially when it's their sons, their daughters, their wives, their husbands, their brothers, their sisters, and damn it, let it be their fathers and their mothers. Somebody needs to get up and do something about it. Otherwise, it's going to continue spiraling. And the thing is, not everybody is equipped to survive. I am. A lot of my friends are. We're equipped to survive no matter what happens. We know what we're going to do. Now, would it behoove us to try to make sure society doesn't collapse? Yes, it would. But at the end of the day, if society collapses, what are you going to do besides become, I don't know, my victim or somebody else's victim that was a little bit more prepared than you? So you have two choices. You could either let it all continue to unravel and then get defeated. What's up, Zach? Zach said that's why they're building more jails every day. We got to shut that down. Zach, welcome to the chat, man. I appreciate you coming in here. I really do. If you missed earlier, we doing some talking right now about 80-year-olds not being able to govern us and the fact that our economy is complete trash and it continues to get worse. What's up, man? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. I really do like. What is that? A guitar you playing? Is that you? We love music around here. We do. We love music around here. Amen to that. All right, we got some songs for y'all. We got classic in the building. We got Zach in here, so we might as well play some music. Shout out. We just hit 3,000 subscribers, y'all. We just hit 3,000 subscribers right now. Thank you guys.
Say his name and he appears.
I just want y'all to set me free today. This is the classic code, B-class music, set me free. Like a theme song for me.
Classic. Lord God, anything attached to me that could be holding me down and keeping me from my ascension. I pray that you detach that from me.
That riff was for you. That riff was for you, Zach. Thank you. He said, yes, sir. I got a couple guitars myself, man. Maybe I might bring them on stream one day. Romanero, ain't that fire? I'm telling you, classic music is good, man. Y'all need to check out B-Class Music. If y'all got the link to B-Class Music right now, somebody put it in the chat. Classic is in here itself. Classic, go ahead and put it in the chat for us so they can reach you and your music. Go ahead. You guys can check him out at the Classic Codes. But yeah, let's keep it moving, y'all. Let's go.
You'll discover how ordinary people are building million-dollar online businesses using YouTube and AI, starting from absolutely nothing. Now, this isn't about getting rich quick. It's about understanding the new rules of wealth creation that actually work in today's economy. The link is right there in the description, and trust me, this information could completely transform your financial future. Okay, let's dive into perhaps the most significant advantage boomers had. They entered adulthood during unprecedented economic expansion with opportunities.
And that is the big one. There were jobs. There were lots of jobs. There were so many jobs that the demand for a job was lower than the supply. It is completely flipped on its head today. Right now, the supply for a job is so much more lower than the demand for the jobs. So it's like, okay, there's not enough jobs, but there's people who want jobs that are actually making the money. There's a lot of jobs that you're not going to make anything at. You're stuck at $12, $13, $14, $15 an hour. And in most bigger cities, that's not enough money to survive. Especially isn't enough money to survive in a place like Chicago. You make $15 an hour in Chicago, and you're going to be poor. You're going to be broke. You're not going to be able to afford a place to live. And then here's the kicker. They want you to make 3 times the amount of money just to rent a place, not even buy, to rent a place. They want you to make 3 times the amount of money, have a 720 plus credit score, have no pets. So you don't even have anything to like keep you sane if because dating is ridiculous. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show, in one of our last segments of the day. But even dating is ridiculous. And it's ridiculous because nobody has the time and nobody has the money and everybody's looking for a way out. This is why financial dating has become a thing in this country. I'm not a big person that believes in financial dating, but there's a lot of people that do. And here's the kicker with that. I can't blame them. I cannot like it all I want, but I can't blame them. They're looking for a way out too. What's up, Joe Jet? Joe Jet's in the building. How y'all doing? Look, always nice to see you in the building, Joe Jet. Romero Benson said that. Yeah, Romero, do you think the government should be overturned by much younger people or just implement younger-based legislation? I think that revolution is what we need to happen in this country. I think that revolution is going to help us. Now, that does not mean destroying the entire government. It just means...
Now, I tell you what, I like you and I want you. Now, we can do this the easy way or we can do it the hard way. The choice is yours.
And it is ultimately. The choice is yours ultimately. Are you going to stand by and let them continue to take everything from you, or are you going to lean into it and take what's yours? I, for one, am not going to stand by and let anybody continue to marginalize me over and over again. I'm not going to do it. So let's see what else happened with these boomers.
That simply don't exist today. Boomers came to age during the longest economic boom in American history. From the 50s through the 70s, the economy grew steadily, and wages rose steadily. And economic mobility, well, it wasn't just possible, it was expected. Here's what's absolutely crucial to understand. Boomers experienced wage growth that actually kept pace with productivity increases. When companies became more profitable, workers shared in those profits through higher wages and better benefits. That connection, it has completely been...
How many of you at work, can I get a show of hands in the chat? You know, I got about 40 people in here right now, whether you guys can see them or not. I got about 40 people in here. I need to ask the question. How many of you in this chat right now have had work profit shares at work, where you guys do a good job, you guys break a record, and you guys get money because of it? You guys get an extra bonus because of the profit sharing that you guys have done. How many of you? And that includes the guys that are on Twitch. If you're on Twitch right now, I do see your comments. So thank you for showing up over there too. I see all your comments right here, and I'll be able to put them on stream. McKinnon has raised his hand. He got some profit sharing. Joe Jet said no. So far we got 2 in there. So I'm gonna tell you right now, I have never received a profit share at any of the jobs that I worked at, including the jobs where I was marketing. I didn't get anything from that. Zach said I had that at a job once 20 years ago. Wow. Roman Arabeza said he didn't have that either. Guys, it's a problem if you're not, and this is the thing, the boomers received theirs. They received profit sharing. They did. Why can't we? Classic said, I've had it before. Cassie said no. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag here. Let me ask you, Classic, you're in the building right now. Classic, when you got the profit sharing, was that enough to make you stay at that job? You said, I've had it before. And Cassie, you said no. And I've known you for years. You've been a hard worker your entire life. You've always had a job. You've always been busting the rump. You know what I mean? And why haven't you got any of that? You work long hours, 10 to 12 hours every single day. He said, nope, I still quit. I don't blame you one bit, man. It sounds like you wanted to take your future into your own hands.
Severed for millennials. The manufacturing jobs that provided middle-class lifestyles for boomers, jobs that required only a high school diploma, but paid enough to buy a house, support a family, and save for retirement.
Even the milkman had a 4-bedroom house. Even the milkman. Could you guys imagine what's the equivalent of a milkman today? What do you guys think is the equivalent to the milkman today? It's not the garbage man. The garbage man makes more money. What's up, Rigid Vibration? Rigid is in the building. AI is going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. Low-class jobs will be took from people with college degrees. It's already happening. It's not going to happen. It's already happening. See, here's the thing. The AI boom is unstoppable. And as much as we might want to stop it, we can't. There's nothing we can do. Every single day, they're spending millions of dollars to buy land that we could be farming on, that we could, not the mailman, but every day they're spending millions of dollars to buy land that was farmed on, or farmland, or open fields, or even complexes to put data centers, business complexes. They're tearing down the big office buildings to put data centers in your towns. You can't stop it. The people that have the money are the ones that are making the decisions to keep this stuff moving. And they're going to keep making the decisions to keep this stuff moving because they're getting paid off of it. And there's nothing that you or I could do about it. Mailman. I don't think it's the mailman either. I think the mailman actually makes the same amount of money. No, the mailman made more money than the milkman. The mailman still makes more money than the milkman. The milkman just came by dropping off milk from Betsy. Betsy was the cow, Betsy. Every cow was named Betsy in the 1960s. I don't know why. Don't ask me. It was just everybody's favorite name for a cow. We need AI laws. That's the only way. And I agree, we do need AI laws. We do need laws about where it can be. They need new zoning restrictions on where they can put AI data centers. They do. The thing is, it's a very profitable industry. And when an industry is profitable, the powers that be tend to max the industry out before they get out. Joe Jet said AI will take jobs, but the powers won't let a bunch of useless eaters just be. And that's where a world war is put in play. Yeah, because they're gonna start drafting people when the war doesn't end, because it's not going to anytime soon. McKinnon Marketing, that's actually not quite true. More more white collar workers have left to blue collar due to AI, and that's the truth. That is the truth. Entry level jobs are just gone. Companies are moving away from prioritizing college degrees. They're not prioritizing college degrees. Again, I stated this earlier. I know people with master's degrees and doctorates who have trouble getting entry level jobs because they don't have the experience. Mariner, they just put up 2 new data centers in downtown area in my city. Yes, 2. And they probably paid a premium for them. McKinnon Rigid, that's the truth. We have to mandate that if a company uses AI, they are mandated to hire X number of employees. Yes, because, for example, Chicago is getting ready to open an AI school for children. How an AI school for children is going to help us, I don't know. As a matter of fact, we have time today, so I'm going to cover it. I'm going to cover it right after this.
Largely disappeared. And what replaced them? Service sector jobs that require college degrees but pay far less in real terms. And here's something that just blows my mind. Boomers could support entire families on single incomes. One person could work while the other raised children, and they could still afford home ownership, annual vacations, and comfortable retirements. For millennials, dual incomes are often barely enough to afford rent in a decent neighborhood. This next point reveals something that fundamentally changed: the strength and reliability of social institutions and safety nets. Boomers grew up with robust social systems that actually functioned as designed. Social Security was solvent and expected to grow. Medicare provided comprehensive coverage. Unemployment insurance offered genuine protection. But here's what really shows the difference. Company loyalty went both ways. When boomers were laid off, they often received genuine severance packages, job placement assistance, and continued health coverage. Companies felt obliged to take care of employees who had served them well. Contrast that with today's gig economy, where millennials are increasingly classified as independent contractors.
How many people here are independent contractors? I know I have jobs and I'm still an independent contractor. In my opinion, I do what I want, when I want, and how many times. Does that mean that I make the maximum amount of money that I could have made otherwise? No, it doesn't. It just means I refuse to be somebody's bitch. I can't do it anymore. I can't. We're not making the type of money that we should make. We don't see our families the way that we should. You know, we're not able to take care of our kids the way that they are able to take care of their kids. They had the type of help that we don't have. Government programs to make sure that the kids are going to get where they need to go. Sports leagues, like everything's been taken over by pay to play, fall ball, and all this other stuff. Like we're losing out. We're losing out on the American culture that we grew up in for the most part. And they didn't have to raise us the way that we're raising our children. We have to raise our kids to be double or triple smart, to have a multitude of skills and not pigeonhole themselves into one place. Like today, if you had a kid, unless you were part of the upper echelon of top 5%, if you had a kid and your kid says, I'm going to become an astronaut, you have to tell your kid, I don't even know if I can afford to make sure that you do. Unless you get a scholarship, you probably should go into a trade. That's terrible, because what it does is it stops us from innovation. If all of us are doing manual labor jobs to get by because that's what's paying the money, then it stops innovation, because everyone knows that happens at a manual labor job is you go to work, you get tired, you come home, you go to sleep, you get up and go back to work again. Let's talk about McKinnon. Ramon said the city I stay in is old Jawtown. Okay, yeah, I know what you mean by that. Yeah, AI schools will be dog it. I was marketing for a tutoring company, and one of our competitors was an AI tutor, so I had to deal with this extensively. AI is focused on efficiency, but that's bad. It is bad because it doesn't take into the human classification. McKinnon said real education isn't efficient. Trying to trip up a student to see if they catch it, educating to their way of thinking, making them to make the connection, not showing them the answer. Real education is not efficient. AI wants to be as efficient as possible. It's an irony that the true good education is inefficient. Romanero said, McKinnon Market, how fast do you think the new AI schools will take over? So we're going to talk about this in about 3 minutes.
Receiving no benefits, no job security, and no safety net when work disappears. We've been told this is flexibility and freedom, but what it really represents is the complete transfer of economic risk from institutions to individuals. You're now responsible for weathering economic storms with no real institutional support. Here's something really interesting that people rarely discuss. Boomers experienced a completely different relationship with information and media that gave them unique advantages. They lived through the golden age of journalism, right? When 3 major networks and trusted newspapers provided shared factual foundations for national conversations. They could trust institutional sources and make decisions based on commonly accepted facts. But more importantly, boomers experienced life without the constant information overload that paralyzes millennials today. They could focus deeply on fewer topics, develop expertise gradually, and make decisions without being bombarded by infinite options and conflicting opinions. Think about this. When boomers wanted to start businesses, they didn't have to compete with global markets from day one. Local businesses could thrive serving local communities without worrying about Amazon or global competition. The barriers to entry were lower, but so was the competition. Millennials, on the other hand, live in an attention economy where focusing on anything long enough to...
What does a multi-billionaire...
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna finish that myself before we even go into this. As you guys can see, I'm loaded up today with stuff that I need to go ahead and get to you guys. Let's do the AI schools first. So what do you guys think, though? What do you guys think? Do you think that this is normal? What we deal with?
Okay, think about this. Competition. The barriers to entry were lower, but so was the competition. Millennials, on the other hand, live in an attention economy where focusing on anything long enough to...
What does a multi-billionaire...
Yeah, I don't know why that got cut off. That wasn't me, though. Let's do it, though. We're going to talk about it today. Where did I place it? Let's find our video, because I had it set to do AI schools, Chicago. Let's go back to the video that I was watching. There we go.
This is something I have never heard of. So a school is going to be completely AI with no teachers, and it's opening up in Chicago. Who are the students? They must be geniuses.
They're recruiting
no
students right now. The students are people whose parents can afford $55,000 a year in tuition. I'll just say that for this private school. But this is a fascinating story on so many different levels. It's going to be called Alpha Schools. And Alpha Schools is a private school. I don't want to call it a chain, but it's a group of schools that exist in other states,
chain
formed out of Austin, Texas. And here's how the day works for these students. K through 8 right now, but eventually they want to make it K through 12. They do essentially all the core academic learning in 2 hours in those booths with AI. And it's very personalized. They interact with the AI. They learn their core subjects, reading, writing, arithmetic, and all the things that we learn. And then the rest of the day is left open to workshops, to entrepreneurial stuff, even for kids as young as 2nd and 3rd grade, business stuff, some arts as well. And that's where they really get their collaboration with other students and problem-solving skills in. No teachers. They are hiring, the school is currently. It's going to be downtown. They would love if you have a teaching background, but you don't have to have one. You have to have a bachelor's degree, but you don't have to have any educational experience or even a degree in education, because it's the AI doing the core learning with the student, and then it opens up the rest of the day. Look, AI is coming to our schools in one way or another. There's no doubt about it. Will teachers be okay essentially saying take over computers? Probably not. There's going to be, obviously this is a private school. They can kind of do what they want here versus the public schools. But I do find it to be a fascinating discussion on where we're going with AI, its capabilities, and how much the education experience is going to embrace this stuff.
I'm all about, technology and teaching our kids advanced learning, like things that we obviously didn't get an education on. My only thing that comes to mind right away is, I know, and I've talked to Gabby about this, and I'm sure you will encounter this too as a parent, that when it's time to get your kids into school, even preschool now, especially if they're not going to a public school, it's like applying for college. And so in a lot of instances, they want your kids to write, right? They want them to even do little essays starting in like kindergarten and things like that. I just don't see how you'll be able to even write your name and things like that if a good portion of that educational component is on the computer. And in fact, I talked to a principal about this, and this is a big issue that they're having as classrooms become more technologically savvy and kids are on iPads and computers. Kids don't know how to write. They don't know how to do a 5 plus 5 equals 10. And so I just don't know if that becomes a problem later in life. I love the concept. I love the concept of a second grader being able to create a business that could be sustainable, maybe even for the rest of their lives, and start thinking about that. But
see, here's the problem. Second graders shouldn't be worried about creating businesses to sustain them for the rest of their lives. What second graders should be worried about? If you guys have kids in my chat right now, if you guys have kids, I want you to put ones in the air if you think that your second graders, if you had a second grader, do you think your second graders should be worried about creating a sustainable business for the rest of their lives? And then I want you to put the thumbs down if you think that your second grader should not be worried about creating a sustainable business for the rest of their life while they're in second grade. Because what are we teaching the kids? When are the kids going to be kids? Are you teaching the kids to be worried about commerce and money from second grade? Because their parents don't have enough money to take care of them? Because they're all disadvantaged? That's a bad model for the future. Kids need to be learning actual skills. They need to be learning actual skills. Which is funny. Kids need to be learning actual skills, and then Classic pops up with the exact same thing. To beat technology, learn the ways of primitive times. Actual skills, things that are going to help you. If they cared about actual skills, they wouldn't have taken shop out of school. They wouldn't have taken home ec out of school. They wouldn't have gotten rid of sewing. They wouldn't have gotten rid of parenting. They got rid of all of the programs in these schools. Even when I was there, they made them a market that you had to pay for. And guess what? Most people's parents couldn't pay for those things while you were in school. They wanted you to go to school because that's what you were supposed to do for 6.5, 7 hours a day while they went to their job. And you spent an hour and a half or at a sport before your parents got home because that was daycare. You didn't learn real skills. I went to sleep most of the time because I realized that you weren't going to learn any real skills. We didn't have shop class. We didn't have automotives. You had to go off campus for that. Who wants to go off campus while you're in high school? Nobody. Get into a bus to go to another place or drive yourself. If you do, possibly get a ticket, should not be there on time, and then get marked, taken down, demerits for it. It's ridiculous. We're not going to be able to beat technology if this is what we're teaching our kids. I don't see anybody agreeing that kids should be learning to create businesses in second grade. I don't see anybody. McKinnon said they'll use COVID as an example. He said every day log on from home, huh? Yeah, that all sounds nice until you realize the education portion isn't being retained. They aren't being asked to repeat what they learned back to their own words. It's surface level. It sounds like real education, but you don't need AI to do real education. Rigid Vibration said even mandating certain amounts human employees won't work because they'll only pick the elites through connections and marketing, as we noticed the other day when they said that privilege was not real, that it was just luck. Romanero said no. McKinnon said no. Cassie said no. Roxy said no. Let the kids be kids. Learn how to socialize first. Class said the lizards at the top understand that Earth is due for another reset. Enjoy the next 40 to 60 years. This is cooked. COVID was to get us uncomfortable with staying in the house, ordering groceries. You can even get a barber online. Yeah, you can. You can. See the rest of this before we get off of the school.
Some practicality you still need. You still may need one day to write your name.
I have this debate all the time with my listeners on the radio because I'm someone who still took penmanship, right? Mm-hmm. And I now argue that was an hour a day or however long it was completely wasted. What do we care if kids know cursive, right? This is not the way of the future. Why are kindergartners writing out essays anyways? I'm going to get a lot of pushback. I'm sure your viewers will disagree with me too. And a lot of people point to there is some skill and important brain maneuvers happening when you're writing things down, and no doubt. But is that the way of the future, right? Here's one point I'll make, because I know a lot of people are putting up their guard about this and saying, why could this possibly happen? We need teachers in the classroom, and I'm not going to disagree with that. My mom, who was a public school teacher for 40 years, is watching right now, so I'm not going to disagree with her on this. But when you have a classroom of 25 to 30 people trying to learn skills, no doubt some kids fall behind, some kids are way ahead and are bored in the class. That is just indisputable. So if you have worked out an AI model that is going to be individualized to each person and can teach them some of these skills in 2 hours that used to take 6, and you free up more time for creativity, for planning, for collaboration, for the approaches of the 21st century where we're going to be, I could see the argument behind it. And this has become politicized because everything these days is. The education secretary, for as long as we have a Department of Education, they promised to shut it down eventually, went to one of these schools in Austin and heralded the founder and said, this is a great thing. And of course, that
the Secretary of Education is Linda McMahon. If you guys don't know who Linda McMahon was, you may have not been wrestling fans in the 90s. In the early 2000s, she is the wife of disgraced former owner of WWE, Vince McMahon. And she's the person that is in charge of of all of the education in the country right now. She's Secretary of Education. If you guys have problems with what's going on in education in the country, please send all of your complaints to the office of the Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, right now.
Received a lot of pushback from people who aren't happy with the administration on all sorts of levels. So this is going to be fascinating to see. And look, public schools use AI too.
Hit the like button, y'all. It's free.
A supplemental thing. It is not something that is driving the discussion, just driving the lectures. So this is going to be an interesting future in AI in general, especially as it impacts classrooms.
Well, and it sounds like they did a lot of research. I mean, it's not like they're just going to come up with this just out of nowhere. I mean, and I think it's fair too, because it's 2 hours, you said, of that core learning, that core curriculum. There's a lot of learning fatigue out there. I remember being exhausted by the end of the day. And
learning fatigue, add that to the list.
Or seeing, kids right now, especially being exhausted by the end of the day, and then they have these extracurriculars. It sounds like there's only so much brain power that can be used.
It's true.
And instead, they could use it towards something that maybe will really benefit them in the long run, like building a business.
Yeah, but I don't have to worry about it because I'm not paying $55,000.
Yeah, that's what
I'm not paying $55,000 for my kid to be taught by a computer either. So, and that's just the way that one goes. Once again, we are on subject today and we are moving quickly. 80-year-olds can't run this country. They don't know how. And this is what a multi-billionaire has to say about it. This is Michael Bloomberg, y'all. Michael Bloomberg.
Billionaire know about people who are living paycheck to paycheck and hoping that the car
I
doesn't
lived
break
in this
down.
house. My father made $6,000, the best year of his life. My parents took a mortgage out on the house. I think it was $11,000, if I remember, to help my sister and I go through school. I worked as hard as anybody. Not better. I wasn't any better or worse. I was luckier, I think, than other people.
The boomers continue.
Once again, they think that luck is what got them there, and that's half the problem. We just said AI schools is cool. Just don't make a public all school thing. McKinney marketing, man, I'm terrified for my kid. I understand completely, man.
Continue to crush it in today's economy, accumulating $14 trillion over the
Older boomers won the pandemic after becoming a whopping $14 trillion richer. Fed data reveals, and Gen X is losing the race.
pandemic, and good for them, but I got to show you why this is concerning for millennials and Gen Zers. Let's break down what each generation is holding in our nation's wealth right now. The silent generation has 12%, the boomers have 50%, Gen Xers 30%, millennials 8.5%. Now, why this is concerning is because the 50% of the wealth that the boomers hold, how they built their wealth, was mainly off of real estate and the stock market. But if you think about the millennials and the Gen Zers right now with these housing prices and interest rates, how many millennials or Gen Zers are actually going to be able to build wealth through real estate for the middle class American? It's not looking as bright as it once was, and that's the first concern. And secondly, if we're burdened with these student loans or the high cost of living, rent being $2,200 a month, I don't think the millennials and Gen Zers are thinking about putting an extra $500-600 a month if they even have that into the stock market for 30 years from now when we're kind of unsure of where the future is even going to be. And secondly, maybe the boomers are going to say, well, you guys just need time to build wealth. It'll come. Well, that article mentioned back in the 80s when the boomers were our age, they had twice the money. So if we were on trend like the generations before us, the millennials should be sitting on 17% and 26 trillion, which makes a little more sense. So if we're not going to be able to build wealth like the future generations do, where does that leave us? I don't think this should be depressing. I just think this should be a wake-up call for us millennials and Gen Zers and future generations to change the American dream narrative and forge our own path. Because if we keep following the leader, we're going to walk right off the edge, and we shouldn't do that.
Now, while boomers and past generations are trying to secure their nest eggs and worthwhile investments, millennials and a handful of Gen Z are trying to secure some of these home offers and trying to book any sort of luxury lifestyle, not even luxury, any sort of survival-based lifestyle. Well, they actually do get into some of these home ownerships over the course of the first few years. The utility rates and the property taxes and the overall cost of maintenance ends up pricing them out of house and home, leaving them to think and wonder and scratch their heads if signing those contracts is actually good for trying to figure out and experience the American dream, or if it was only good for the people that were on the other end of those contracts, most certainly past generations, which is not all the boomers, it's not all your grandparents. It's not like you should just strike down the local retirement home, but it definitely does feel like that the majority of people who are the CEOs of these organizations, these companies, and these infrastructures are older than us. And now, will eventually we get some of this wealth, or we'll get divvied out into other nations, other wars, or other types of ordeals that we don't really get to vote for. We do get to vote for who's in office, but they're never really for us. They're for the same people that couldn't care less about us. Either way, despite which generation you're in, or despite which tax bracket you fall into, don't forget to leave your personal thoughts, opinions down below. I always love to respond to those comments I see fit, and I want to give a huge shout out to you guys who check out these videos daily, and check out those links down below in the description. Those are always some of the best ways to support these discussion-based videos that we try to provide your daily monthly channel. Now, let's begin the shit show.
Gen Z is the hardest working generation in American history, and if they were born in the 1950s, about 1/3 of them would be multimillionaires and retired by the age of 40. And this is not just my opinion, this is what the raw numbers say. Based on Federal Reserve numbers, no generation has worked more than Gen Z. In the 1960s, households worked on average about 38.5 total hours per week, compared to Gen Z two-income households that are working 85 to 90 hours per week. And in addition to that, 55% of them have reported working some kind of side hustle or second job. And so the question is, if they work so hard, why are they so poor? And it comes down to 4 main factors: real estate prices, student loans, healthcare costs, and transportation costs. Let's talk about real estate. In the 1960s, a typical single-family house would cost between 1.5 and 2 times the median household income, but that was only one person working. Now with 2 people working, it's over 5 times that household income. Meaning if we put a typical Gen Z family with 2 incomes into a time machine back to the 1960s, they would be able to pay off a median single-family house by the time they turn 25. They also wouldn't have student loans, there would be negligible healthcare costs, and cars would have been cheaper, so would gas. And so they would be able to save an additional $4,000 a month that they would be able to put towards retirement. Compounded over 15 years from ages 25 to 40 with 8% annual return, this would mean that the typical Gen Z household would be at about $1.4 million in net worth by the age of 40 and have a paid off house at the same exact time, meaning they could probably retire in their 40s. And so what this says to me is that the US economy as we know it is being supported by the excess work of Gen Z households. If they didn't work as hard as they were working right now, real estate prices would collapse. There would be no one to buy equities, and so the stock market would go down. And so this notion that Gen Z isn't working hard and all of these memes that go back and forth on Facebook is completely nonsensical to me. They are the hardest working generation. Anyway.
Ironically enough, the same old boomer boss that strikes you down for sneaking off to the bathroom too much, or hitting your vape in the break room, or, doing anything that you probably think is ridiculous, these are the same people that used to be the hippie generation. They used to preach Woodstock. They used to be in their vans that they used to bang girls outside of high school with while they're smoking their hookah pipes. Well, these days, they completely forgot about that time of their life, and now all they can really care about is their 401ks or IRAs and these types of systems that you and I don't really ever feel like we'll fully be able to experience in the whole overall regard. It feels as if that they keep threatening 401k might keep going up when you're even able to access that whole system, as well as it might even be around by the time you are even reach that age. And as much as medical, as much as medical industries, medical institutions, medical gear seems to be getting better, the price of everything seems to be getting more so out of reach for the average individual. And although you will be able to probably get access to these types of machines, the types of dollar amounts are going to, break your back with once you actually get, somewhat healthy, if that's even a thing anymore these days, with how they literally sell you poison and they promote gambling, tobacco, and alcohol around every corner, as well as adult content. It feels as if that there really is no way to be healthy in the modern day, especially over here in the West.
We've always had class war in this country.
You're just not supposed to talk about it.
That's right. Always had class war. We've always had rich and poor. We've always had uprisings of the poor against the rich. We always had the rich taking the helm of government and doing what they wanted for themselves. The tax structure has always been based on who do we tax. In the 1920s, Andrew Mellon, Secretary of the Treasury, started taxing people at the lower elements, leaving the upper classes untouched. Need somebody to say, I am going to raise taxes, but then go beyond that. Say, I'm going to raise taxes on super rich. They have made trillions of dollars in taxes. I mean, I saw a statistic which told me that the richest people in the country, the billionaires, have made, as a result of the tax structure, have made $300 billion in the last few years. Now,
that's a lot of money, guys.
Raise taxes on the super rich, cut taxes on the people at the bottom, and you will have enough money by raising those taxes to pay for free healthcare for everybody in the country, which is a point about the class nature of taxation.
Now, do you think with time moving on and over the next couple of decades, the majority of these past generations will just die out, being that not everybody does live forever? Maybe some of them might be reptilians, maybe some of them might be cloning themselves, maybe some of them might find some sort of their ways to spend their money to make themselves live a little bit longer, have some sort of longevity throughout their lives. They can eat better meals, they can probably have better healthcare, and they can probably live in better places with better climates, not, sucking in mold through their breath like we do in the majority of the places we live in, the Section 8 housing, the food stamp buildings. But for the majority of us, we're going to die pretty soon. And it feels as if that life live forever. It feels as if we never really want to experience that. But one day we're going to be the ones in charge, and then we're going to have to prepare the future generations after us to be in charge after us. It feels like we never really think about that. Whenever we have to think about after us, we always have to think about how can we get the most out of this. This is the greedy institution, the greedy mindset that we get taught. I feel like it's just propagandized and kind of infiltrated, indoctrinated into our head over here in the West. Money, 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 finance is the only way. But in reality, is this the way? Is that really how you leave a legacy? Or is legacy just a facade that the whole human man can never really get rid of? Is society a bust? Are we just meant to live in tribes or cavemen-esque in caves? Are we meant to kind of be on the tundra and teepees? Or does it really feel like that city-wide is actually worth it? I feel like some people say, well, I'm happier living in the farms. I'm happier living with less infrastructure. Some people like myself, I like cities. I like having there's like 15 cars on the block all spewing out gas that's polluting the air that I breathe. Well, there's a local store a block away that will overcharge me for any type of ingredient or any type of item that I'm going to be paying for. I like that. But hey, there's a system where if you put your number in and they track you, then your 7th cookie is free, or 7th cup of coffee, or seventh gas station sandwich. That who all knows the poison in that, especially when they microwave it. Why do they microwave it in the bag? I feel like, am I just asking for cancer? Either way, feel free to leave your personal opinions down below, despite which generation you're in or which tax bracket you fall into. I always respond to the ones I see fit. I'm going to give a huge.
Well, guys, as you can see, we broke it down. They don't really understand us right now. We got something special right now. We got breaking news. First time I've done a breaking news update in quite a while. President Donald Trump has fired Attorney General Pam Bondi.
We do just want to briefly break in with some breaking news right now. You're looking at video of former Attorney General Pam Bondi. The president has ousted Bondi from that role as Attorney General. This news just coming into the Local 10 newsroom. She will be replaced for now by the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche. This according to multiple sources. We had reported that there were some discussions that the president was unhappy with Bondi's performance lately, especially in relation to the Epstein files investigation and the lack of a more robust set of investigations into his political opponents. So now the president, after saying in a statement yesterday that she was, quote, doing a good job, today has fired Pam Bondi as the Attorney General. They will look for another role for her within the administration, and we'll work to bring you more information all throughout the day. Of course, our DC Bureau team is watching this. We'll bring you live updates from our nation's capital and the very latest on the firing of the Attorney General here on air and online. Just head to Local 10.
You are watching CBS News 24/7 and CBS continuing breaking news coverage of the firing of U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi. The president has now named Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche to lead the DOJ as acting Attorney General. These words just now from the President of the United States. Let's pull it up via a Truth Social report. That Truth Social report right there saying Pam Bondi is a great American patriot. He calls her a loyal friend who faithfully served as Attorney General over the past year, credits her for a massive crime crackdown, and says these words as she's being fired: "We love Pam." He also announces to the American public that Pam Bondi will transition to a new job in the private sector. Apparently, that will be announced at a later date. He then says he's handed the torch to somebody he considers very talented, respectful, legal mind, Todd Blanche, stepping in as acting Attorney General. We understand that news came to Mr. Blanche by a 3 or 4 minute phone call that was congratulatory in nature. Let's go to CBS News correspondent Chanel Call. She's following all of this breaking news. Chanel, a lot to take apart here and diagnose.
Yeah, watching this unfold in just the last few moments here, some big national breaking news. Pam Bondi is out. At this point, unclear what she will be moved to. But I do want to point to something I think is noteworthy from that Truth Social post. So if we can pull that up again, you'll see here the president calling her a great American patriot and a loyal friend who he says faithfully served as Attorney General over the past year. And we've been talking about what she will be moved to next. There is a part where he says she will be transitioning to a much needed and important new job in the private sector. So we'll have to wait and see for some more details on that, Reed.
You for that, Chanel Call. Let's go back to the White House and CBS News, Nancy Cordes. Nancy, that Truth Social post happened while you were part of the CBS News special report, but let's back this up now. As you said at the top of our broadcast on CBS News 24/7, the leaks were just so prolific that they seem to signal, like other times when the president has let somebody go from their position, that there was some there, and certainly within minutes, you were right.
Right. And two very notable things from the president's announcement read. First of all, he was effusive with his praise of Pam Bondi. That's something that we expected. He's been very reluctant in this second term to criticize people who he has chosen to place in major roles, cabinet level positions, especially someone like Bondi, who has been so dedicated to Donald Trump well before the beginning of this second term. She was by his side, fighting fiercely for him after the 2020 election, making the case, as the president did, that somehow this election had been stolen. And despite the fact that they lost case after case and that those arguments were never substantiated, she continued to argue in the president's favor. So they are two individuals who have a long history, and he didn't want to criticize her in that statement or indicate publicly that he was unhappy with the role that she was doing. I also thought it was notable that he said that she is going to be moving to a private sector position that is very important to be announced later. That suggests a couple of things. Either he offered her a position within the administration, another job, as he has both with for Kristi Noem, who was eased out of her role as Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, and Mike Waltz, who was eased out of his role as the National Security Advisor. Either that was a role that was not of interest to her, whatever he was offering her, or she has simply decided that she is done with the administration and the public sector and would rather go back into private life instead. So we'll be watching. He said that that role is going to be announced very soon. So we'll be watching to find out what it is.
Of course, a lot of Americans, and I thought Major Garrett expertly laid this out with you during that CBS News special report. A lot of Americans will wonder, okay, so what happens with the Epstein case? Any thoughts about that?
Right. Well, that will now be Todd Blanche's problem. He's the Deputy Attorney General, who President Trump says is going to be stepping up as acting Attorney General. He did not say that he was going to be nominating Blanche for the position of Attorney General officially, but he is certainly someone who, like Pam Bondi, has been very dedicated to this president for a long time. Blanche was actually his lead defense attorney in the president's hush money case in New York. So they go back a ways as well.
Screams of corruption. So, as you guys are well aware, Pam Bondi is now out. We're going to see what happens next. And in the meantime, that was a breaking news, guys. We haven't had a breaking news on this show in a very long time. We kind of just continue doing what we do. So, without further ado, I think it's time. It's 1:23 in the afternoon, y'all. It's time for a TezDown, stretch down. Let's get this stretch break in, y'all. Let's make it happen today. Ooh. Let's get stretched out, y'all. Let's go. Bring it in, touch that solar plexus. Let's go. Left to the right, y'all. Right over left. Give me 10 seconds. Stretch the hips out. In that back. Easy. 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 Okay, let's go. Oh yeah, feel it. Can't feel it any more than get the flex all in, so you can't revolutions. It was good to run that get the other way. Nice way to break up the monotony of the morning. Yeah, feels good. Stretch it on out. Yes, it does. Give me a deep breath, though. Bring it all in. Give me one more. Give me one more. Clear that airway now. Hey, we got some housekeeping to do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We have a tour coming up in Georgia. That is the Singles and Soulmates tour. As you guys can see right there, there's the Singles and Soulmates tour. It's going to be on June 6th. Make sure you guys take a screenshot of this. So if you're in the Georgian area in Columbus, make sure you guys take a screenshot. And if you guys want to just join us for one of our shows, we're going to be at the Hideaway Lounge in Columbus, Georgia on June the 6th, 2026 to make this show happen. We are on tour. We are the Raw Society Coalition. If you guys want to see exactly what you're missing by not being at it, this is what happened in Chicago. And we got more videos that are coming up soon, but you guys got to give us some time. We booming right now. We're all doing numbers.
Why you ain't say nothing? I'm only gonna do this once. You always knew I'd make it from the beginning. Why you ain't say nothing? You believed in me the whole time, for real? Yeah. I couldn't tell. You was around me from the beginning. Why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't say nothing? Seen them hard times couldn't kill me. Why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't say nothing? Stages on my own getting bigger. Now you wanna say something. But watching my story all winter. Why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't call? Why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't? You was around me from the beginning. Why you ain't say nothing? Stages I'm on getting bigger. Now you wanna say something? Put that on my soul.
Oh yeah. It was a time that was had. I enjoyed myself a whole lot, and I can't wait for the next show. If you guys would be so kind to screenshot and subscribe to the channels that I have listed. We have the Raw Society Coalition. That's where all 5 of us content creators come together like Voltron. To create the Raw Society Coalition. We have the classic codes, which you guys know the classic codes for most of you guys anyway. He's been viral and taken these streets by storm. And as one popular creator has called him, he has the voice of the streets. We have Souls of Thought and the No Middleman podcast, which also includes independent content creators, Souls of Thought, Uncle Plug TV, Conversations with Soft Rain, who all have their own channels. Make sure you guys check out those channels individually as well. And you are here now on the TezDown, where we test those downs. It is sports unscripted and culture unfiltered. And I want to make sure that you guys get everything that you want to get.
Are you making another beat, Daddy?
What up, nephew?
And Genius is my dad.
Hey, Lele. Classic. Bass. Hard times ain't nothing at all. Really come from a struggle. Move around Michael Buffer. Always ready to rumble. All that mean is off the muscle. Y'all can't match my hustle. Screen bucket, that's a cuzzo. Bigger key to no muzzle. Lately I'm feeling exhausted. Think I'm tired of being humble. Coach all on the duffel. Chip on my shoulder, you don't want to ruffle. Where I come from, everybody is cutthroat. Could have been dead, I'm just doing what I'm up for. My old homie jumped off the roof. I tried to shepherd, he was nuts so. Life, win or you lose, you gotta pick it or choose. Inspired, chose to win. Now I'm wearing furs on a cruise. The shortest path always straight. Why you all in your own way? You scream YOLO to be goofy instead of using that to be great. You black, you should be proud. When I die, spend my money with the apes. It's gonna be a ton. I'm running up the rate. My name on your tongue.
All right, y'all. I gave y'all plenty of time to like, subscribe, and come back to the TezDown, where we got another segment to finish tonight. Well, this afternoon anyway. Black men always win? Always? Tell me more. Tell me more. This young woman has decided that she's going to tell her story about why black men are always winning and why a black man is irresistible. So if you think that black men are irresistible, make sure that you tell me about it in the chat. And you talk about yourself. I think I'm irresistible. You know, nobody wants to resist this hotness, right? Right? I'm just going to keep telling myself that anyway, regardless of what you think.
So you say you like on chocolate men?
Mm-hmm. White men just can't handle thick.
How? Have you tried that before?
Oh, well, so immediately the first thing we're going to start doing is we're going to start dumping on the white folks. Yeah, we didn't come here for that today, did we?
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
I didn't know about that. I don't know about that, but sounds like she needs help.
Stop it. Get some help.
Yes.
How was the experience though?
Shit.
How? Can you elaborate?
They just like, all right, this is also not gonna, I hope this doesn't sound rude either, but like I feel like a lot of like white men, at least the ones that I have dated personally. Like, I'm sure there's many out there, but like they're just like skinny, twiggy, insecure, not sure, not very confident in the bedroom. Sure, there's some out there, but in my personal experience, I haven't been able to find one that's just like, I like it when they have like a little more meat on them, just like a little bit more. Like if I sit on you, I don't want you to go, ugh.
Why the fuck
you know what I mean? Like I want you to like be able to like
Oh,
have
that's
me
me.
sit. Like I want you to be able to like take it. Like I'm not even like that big, but I feel like at least with like chocolate men too, I feel like they appreciate a thicker, fuller woman.
Okay, you think so?
I do. I really do. I just feel like they just appreciate the thickness and they just like know how to like love all of me.
Tell me
I don't know. They just like don't know what to do with me.
No, I
It's
mean,
like,
really.
I don't know.
Tell me
Like,
They couldn't flip you, nothing.
no, absolutely not. There's no
Go
flipping.
back.
There's no nothing. Like it's just
No
like
choking?
no. Oh my god, that's the main thing too. Like they'll be like in the middle of choking me. They're like, "Is this okay?" I'm like, "Oh my god." I'm like, "Just do it. Just do it." Like, what is with this? Like, do you want me to sign a consent form?
Okay,
Like,
though.
mine?
Yeah.
I'd be kind of kinky. I love like BDSM. I love bondage. I love just like total power exchange. Like just like it's called TPE. It's like an entire like power exchange, like in the bedroom, like on a day-to-day basis. Like don't and like I got it. Like I got this. But like in the bedroom, it's a completely different story for me. Like I like it when they fully take control. Like I don't want to be like, oh, like what are we gonna do next? Like, are you comfortable? Like we already exchanged the consent. We're good. So like just take control, throw me across the room, whatever. Like we got this. So like that is my vibe. I flew to Texas also for dick once. Never do that. I give really good head, so that could probably that might be
you
it.
do?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
I've been told.
So you're the headmaster.
Get out of
I'm
here.
the headmaster, maybe.
Get
Honestly, I
out
like
of
that.
here,
I'm gonna
man.
start calling myself that now.
So you enjoy getting head too, right?
I do. I really do. I actually think it's great. I love it. But like for me, like I love that. Like it's like a huge portion of sex for me. Like it's just like that should be at least half of it every time. Like, you know, like a good portion of it should be just want a fuck buddy. And for whatever reason in this day and age, that doesn't exist with men.
Really? Somebody get this girl some help. Somebody please get this girl some help. Look, I thought that she was going to come on here and talk about how hardworking, how awesome, how attentive, you know, how non-cheating us black men are. Instead, she is doubling down on stereotypes and fetishes. Can I not be fetishized today? Can I not? Can you not dump on everybody else while you're doing so? No? Okay. Whatever. McKinnon said, lady, just say you like black guys in 2026. Why do you feel it's necessary to create reasons? Any race of dude could do what you're mentioning. Stop beating around the bush. That's what I'm saying. Just say you like black dudes. Black dudes might like you back. Might. I'm not going to like you back. I'm not attracted.
Really? It just doesn't exist. They want something more. They want the girlfriend. They want the like the fucking house and the picket and the fucking bullshit and the dog and the kids. But yeah, I can't with the relationship shit. I'm not interested.
Really?
I don't want it. And I
So
also
you don't want it? You just want a buddy?
yeah, because I just feel like it's a waste of my time right now. Like I'm only 24. Like there's plenty of time for me to find someone. And like I'm personally not interested in getting married. I don't want kids. I feel like a lot.
Listen, people, let me tell you something. Every time that somebody says there's plenty of time to do something, it never gets done. No times in history did the procrastinator actually get it done. Matter of fact, I used to have a shirt that I thought was awesome. And the shirt said, procrastinators unite tomorrow. It never happens because tomorrow never comes. It is tomorrow every day. And every day is tomorrow. So if you're going to put it off tomorrow, it's never going to happen. So thinking that you have extra time to do things, you don't. Every time you think you got an extra time to do something, you don't have extra time to do it. No, you don't. You don't. So that's just what I'm saying. That's all. Let's keep it 100 with y'all. Let's see what she got to say about this.
A lot of people want those things, and then I say that, and it's like this big turn, like an open relationship. My God, that is like the biggest turn off for like every guy, and I don't understand why. I'm like, I'm saying you can fuck other girls. I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Like you can fuck other girls. I can.
Well, so here's the thing about this, right? An open relationship would benefit you more because you, let's face the facts here, you're kind of easy from the way that you've said. And if you're easy, you can go anywhere and find a guy that's willing to do what you want him to do to you. But guys, on the other hand, they don't have it so easy. Not everybody is as gorgeous as me. They're not. They're not big, muscular guys, strong. beautiful white straight teeth. They're not. They're not. They're just regular guys. And they can't put up with that.
It's a man, baby.
Every guy that you meet is going to come down the street walking everything down. And an open relationship is going to benefit you more because the guy had to put all this work into getting you. And he didn't put it into getting it somebody else. But you can get just about anybody you want just by being you.
God damn, Jimmy. This some serious gourmet shit.
I know.
Other girls and guys. You can also fuck other guys if you want. Whatever your niche. Like whatever your niche is. Like I don't care. Like I just want it to be open. My friend, she has an open relationship and she has like multiple partners and stuff like that. So like I know it exists. It just takes forever to find. And like maybe the Boston area just isn't for it. So I had like a very brief hoe phase where I was just like, let's just do this. And so I like started downloading all these dating apps and I'm only like probably like 19 at this point, maybe like 20. And I was like, let's just get out there. Like I've missed the mark. And so the first guy that I matched with, he's like this Dominican man. He's so beautiful. Stupid ass. And he ends up picking me up from my house at like 2 a.m. Whatever. I was like fucking 20. I was like, okay, whatever. He picks me up with no shirt on. I was like, okay, just gonna move past that. He gets gas.
Gentlemen, you have already seen that playing the good chivalrous guy doesn't always do it for him. Not at this age.
Also with no shirt on. And we get back to his place. It's like this weird little room as if I'm in like Harry Potter. I was like, I don't know where the fuck you're taking me. And I was just like, let's just do this. And he clearly was taught from day one that everything was speed. Everything. Like everything. Like I call him in my like to pass now, I call him Energizer Dick. That's what I call him. Like I swear to you, I got whiplash from this guy. He really was like a little like fucking jackrabbit, like an actual jackrabbit. Like he was so fast, and I didn't even have any time to like respond or like have any like whatever like do anything that he was doing. He was like flipping around, like doing all this crazy shit or whatever. And then before I could blink, like we were done. And I was like, oh.
Stop it.
And so like I know one person at this point in my life. So I'm like, normal? Question mark? I was like, is that normal? I go and tell my friend. She was like, no. She was like, you shouldn't be dizzy. She was like, you should not be dizzy after you're like you have. And I was like, oh. Oh my God. And so I moved on to the next guy, and I didn't think much of it that all of his pictures were in black and white. I was just like, yeah, it's just like a normal thing or whatever. And so he comes and he picks me up or whatever. Catfish motherfucker. Absolute catfish motherfucker. Like, I don't know what happened to him. Like maybe it was like from birth or whatever, but he was like burned from like head to toe, like all the way to the bottom. Like his face didn't look anything like his profile. And I said to him like in the nicest way too. I was like, I would have responded fine to your profile, but I was like, but I kind of feel slighted and like betrayed that you.
I can't even finish this, guys. I can't even finish this because I have no idea what direction that she's going in. You know what? I think it's gonna be we're gonna shift gears here because I have no direction what she's going in. It's not gonna make it for anything good on my content side. Why don't we do something that we haven't done in a little bit, maybe a little bit over a week? We're gonna find a random story time of the day and we're gonna break that down. Let's see what we got, y'all. I know it's going to be crazy because nobody knows what it ever is. And I never know what it is. What you guys going on? How many people I still got in here? Put your ones in the air if you're still with me today. If you're still with me today, put your ones in the air as we get ready for our last segment of the day. And that is random story time. Random story time, y'all. Let's go. Random story time. We don't know what it's going to be. We don't know why it's going to be. Okay. We don't know about this. We have no idea. We have no idea where this is going to go. I don't know where this is going to go. I'm sure you guys don't know where this is going to go. I've never seen this before. We're going to get a reaction to this. Let's go. Story time. Let's go.
Okay, guys, so story time of how my broke-ass ex can't afford his car and has now left it up to me. Let's get into it.
Okay.
So, look, y'all, like, I don't even want to be dealing with none of this, but it's come to this point where, you know, motherfuckers just got to be aired out. So, basically, this
they have to?
man, or should I say little-ass boy, because he can't be responsible for shit, has this car on all over his Instagram, flexing it, made it his profile picture is literally like a car guy. It's his actual username, but you can't afford your car payments. So basically, when we were together, he basically manipulated my ass to help him get this car. Like,
did he really?
He swore that no one could help him get a car, no one could sign for him, his credit was shit, and that he was gonna be carless or whatever. So
that just sounds like a man asking for help, doesn't it?
Me being a good girlfriend at the time, I was like, okay, sure, like, let me help you. Obviously, I should not have done that, but like, I mean, girl, like, I was trying to make sure my man was not carless. So anyways, fast forward, we break up, and I was like, you need to get this car out of my name and put it under yours. Like, we're not together. He basically gave me false promises and was like, oh, I'm gonna get the car out of your name as soon as I like can, blah blah. Never.
That's where the story should end, and that's where I'm gonna end it. This is crazy. I'm not listening to the rest of this. You would give us something better.
So boom, guess what the fuck happened last night?
Nope.
Hi, I used to work for the coroner's office for 16 years, and I'm.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. Let's just try to do something a little bit. Let's go. Okay.
Storytime part 1 of
Nope, we ain't got time for more than one part. Dang, y'all, this is getting harder and harder to do. Okay.
My sister accidentally dated her biological dad.
Oh.
My sister just recently found out
All right, we can do this
that
one.
her and I do not have the same biological father. We grew up thinking that we did. I am the younger sister. She's the older sister. We were raised by my biological dad, and we're not very far apart in age, and so we look a lot alike. There was no symptoms or signs that we weren't. I mean, who questions that type of thing? But recently, there's been a lot of things going on about paternity and ancestry DNA, and so we've been curious. So she took a test, I took a test, and we saw that yes, our biological mother, she'd also taken one, was on there. But the reason she was so vehemently against us taking one is because I think she had her doubts about who my sister's biological father was. I don't think my mom really knew. I think she just kind of had a suspicion. That's why she was kind of.
See, what I'm saying is there's a lot of relationships that have been made in the past where parents just didn't say anything. Like they had other kids, or they had a relationship with somebody else and they just didn't say anything about it. Yeah, that dude knows the kid's not his, but that's his wife. The other kid is his, and they're just gonna raise him. They're just gonna raise him and not deal with it. There's a lot of milkman babies that were running around. That was not a joke. That was a thing. He had a whole nother family on the other side of towns type stuff.
Scared that we did it. Anyway, so we found out that no, indeed, she was not the biological child of my father, which of course caused a ton of heartache and hurt. And the worst part about it is, several years ago, my sister, she has always had a thing for older men. I don't know what it is. Some people just have the preferences, I guess. I'm not here to judge.
Experience.
Anyway, so she was attracted to this older guy in our town. We live in a very small town. It's like 6,000 people. And she started talking to him, but she didn't want my mom to know that she was dating this guy that was like my mom's age, understandably so. But my sister wasn't quite as sly as she thought she was. And my mom ended up finding out, and my mom freaked the flip out. Like, I understand that's upsetting, but she freaked out on a whole new level. And she told my sister it was because she had dated this guy like 20 plus years ago, and she knew what kind of a person he was. And so she told her to steer clear from this guy. And eventually it fizzled out. It didn't work, whatever. So just yesterday, me and my husband went on a date night. We had a great time. We went to dinner, we wined, we dined, we went to the movies, we took a spicy cube, we came home, we got down to business. Neither one of us had our phones on us because typically.
Guys, what's a spicy cube? Do y'all know what's a spicy cube? Can somebody please in the comment section let me know what a spicy cube is? They took a spicy cube. What is that? I know it's got to be a euphemism for something. It's got to be.
We just like to enjoy our time together when we take a spicy cube. Anyway, so when I look at my phone, I see that I have missed many, many calls from my sister. So I call her back, even though it's the middle of the night. She's up and she's crying. She had gotten a little notification on her phone from her ancestry that, you know, if you've ever done it, they like notify you if you have like a new connection or a new family member. Okay. Her new connection was her biological father, the same man that she had dated in the past. I mean, poor girl. How was she to know? But what a awful situation. And really, what can you do about it? The damage is done.
That is a horrible story. And this is why, men, you need to be in your kids' lives. You need to be in your kids' lives so you don't end up dating your daughter. That's disgusting. How do y'all get yourselves involved in this type of stuff? That is totally disgusting. Ugh. Ugh. I can't do it. I can't do it. Again, I want to thank everyone for everything. I don't really have much to say about that, man. That was nasty. That was the last three we've tried to listen to have been terrible. So, random story time. You are fired. What's up, Zoomer Cage? Her and her mom have the same taste in men. Yeah, they do. And one of them just happened to be her dad. It's disgusting. It's crazy how you guys are dealing with this stuff. If you guys haven't had a chance to check out some of the videos that I have posted in the past, you guys might want to check some of those out. As you guys can see, I'm a little bit of a fiery personality when it comes to making things happen because I am angry about the stuff that's going on. I'll play an excerpt. This video was pretty good. We got time for it. I'll play an excerpt from it, and you guys let me know.
I'm going to show you like the perception though, right?
Okay.
2K, I've been watching you. I think me and Class are probably the most versed with you and Anton and everything, right?
Okay.
2K, y'all niggas would have some conversation about who got rims in Mississippi. Nigga,
Damn.
2 hours. Y'all would go back. Y'all would go back and forth. And that night, you had something you really wanted to say, dog, but you just cut it all off. When he stepped up and walked to the right, I can remember it like I'm watching it.
You doing this?
No. We just having a conversation now. We ain't talking about the situation no more. I'm just saying. But then he came back into the room, and you never said what you was finna say. You started off, but you never finished, and that's not what a lot of people.
I have posted the video link for this video in the chat, guys.
The way they are, right? 2K always goes all the way in.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there waiting for 2K to go all the way in and tell him his opinion. But you kind of let the show matriculate the way it just matriculated, and he took on this new character in the sense of like what people were seeing, and that's what I think a lot of people were bothered by 2K.
So it was two things, right? The first thing was me not having a full understanding of what the fuck was going on.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna be like, bro, no, you were wrong for defending yourself. Woo, 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 woo. But had I had known everything, I would have been like, hey, cuz strictly you, Anton, you cannot conduct yourself in this manner because you can't go to hell with Corey every week. This is a moment. Yes, you stood up for yourself, but you can't go to hell every week, but without the lack.
So how do we get here? How do we get here? How do we go from having a discussion about what is going on in our community and the people that we are affecting each and every single day, and y'all that are watching us, and how we are being positive and trying to move forward people who look like us and the people who are very adjacent to us? How do we do that? How do we get to a clout? How do we get right back to clout? Thanks, Reggie. I don't know. But I do know that when it comes, say, yeah, what's up here? What's up? Y'all having a good time in this comment section, you know. Y'all over there waiting around like I am.
God damn, Jimmy. This some serious gourmet shit.
But as always,
say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Say my name and I appear. And well, here we go.
Oh, that ain't what that means. So like that's my thing. I just feel like sometimes we want people to say the words that we're saying, but some people just have moved past it. That doesn't mean they have forgotten.
No, it's
You know what I
hard.
mean?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say we all disagree because if we gonna move on because it's another topic we gotta talk about that's probably gonna have us right back in this spot. But before we do, we can't say we agree because from listening to everybody up here, it's what is it? It's 7 of us total now. If I ask the question, if a race riot broke out today, whose side would you fight on? I can't give an answer for all y'all niggas right now. I guarantee you I can't.
Look at the faces. What are you deliberating about? What are you deliberating about? Whose side are you on? If a riot broke out right now, a race riot, where there is just brown and there is just this. See, it doesn't even want to show up on my screen. Translucent ass shit. What side are you taking? Now, there are some white folks who are going to take the side of the brown people. That is very prevalent in today's society. Very prevalent. You see who's not down with the BS and say, hey, look, ain't nobody trying to rule nobody. We should all be living in peace and harmony and chicken grease or whatever. You know what I'm saying? However people say it, whatever colloquialism you like to use. And then there are people like me who are like, look, you are welcome to join the fight, but my eye's on you. My eye is on you. And those people are the enemy. You have anything good to say about them, let it be known right now. Because the minute that you say something about that, you can go join their side, see what they do to you because you look like us. Not everybody understands that. Until it's time for them to understand it, if you know what I'm saying. Ever happened to you? Has it ever happened to you? I want to know. Tell me that it's never happened to you. And then you have every right to be over there. All of the rights. From the rights straight down from the ancestors to today. But okay. All right.
Just from listening to everybody talk, and I ain't got to point out who I think is on the. I can't give an answer for all y'all right now.
But that's also your perception, right? Because of the words you're hearing.
Hell no, it ain't my perception. It's my reality. It's a certain level of comfort in the moving off of it that y'all niggas is expressing that let me know you kind of own.
This man said, okay, we got to move on. And everybody did one of these. Let it out. Super happy that he was just ready to go on to the next subject. Let's talk about something else. This is uncomfortable. I kept the bugs crawling in my skin right now. My goose pimples are standing up. Let's talk about something else, guys. Let's be copacetic. Y'all like that big word right there, right? We're using words today. Yeah, copacetic. Let's do that. Disgusting work. Disgusting work. You know, if you didn't know, you would say that Classic in this part, maybe some people might think he's acting out of character because he said no. Classic. No. This vexes me. We ain't moving on. It's my show. Let's talk about what I want to talk about. That's the energy that you gave off, Mr. Classic Codes. You gave off that energy. We're gonna see what you had to say about it.
On the fence.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not.
But some people just have moved past it. That doesn't mean they have forgotten.
No, it's hard. It's hard to say. It's hard to say we all disagree because if we gonna move on because it's another topic we gotta talk about that's probably gonna have us right back in this spot. But before we do, we can't say we agree because from listening to everybody up here, it's what is it? It's 7 of us total now. If I ask the question, if a race riot broke out today, whose side would you fight on? I can't give an answer for all y'all niggas right now. I guarantee you I can't. Just from listening to everybody talk, and I ain't got to point out who I think is on the. I can't give an answer for all y'all right now.
But that's also your perception, right? Because of the words you're hearing.
Hell no, it ain't.
Wait, what? Okay, never mind.
My perception. It's my reality. It's a certain level of comfort in the moving off of it that y'all niggas is expressing that let me know you kind of on the fence.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not. I have a white friend. I got a bunch of white friends. Yeah. So if the shit went down and you had to clap your homies, I don't know what side you on for real. I don't know.
Or your people.
Yeah. You looking at the ops as friendly fire on the low.
Claxton, think about what I said. I said, if I can't get my lick back from niggas that was doing shit in 1836, there's no reason for me to be harboring feelings.
So why do you want to talk to me now? Why do you want to talk to me now? How you gonna go from saying, if you can't get your lick back from 1836, but it's 2026, and I have seen you twice on the platform, and both times you took offense for whatever reason, without me even saying your name. You took it up as a personal attack while I was talking to a panel of people. A personal attack? I would have said your name. I haven't even said your name yet. Do you want me to? Would that make you feel good? Would that validate you? If I decided to just say your name? I don't know, man. I think Tez Taker is in the building. And I think this is about to get a lot worse. Not for me, for you. And your kind. You see, you're noisy. You're loud. You're everything that you say that you hate about my Black people. And you hate that we do it better than you. That's what you hate. You don't have a problem with me. Just like I don't particularly have a problem with you. You have a problem for what I represent and what I stand for. And the people, they see it too. How many times are you going to request to talk to me? How many times do I have to answer to get you to understand that there is nothing that you can do to slow or stop it? What are you going to tell the people? Are you going to follow a doxing trail? I don't know. Maybe we should get into that a little bit later.
If something happened in 2026, do you think that I'm still going to go over there with the opposition? I got a choice in that. So what I'm saying is, I'm not going to be mad about some shit that happened when I wasn't even born. But if it arises today, I am a certified stepper. That's
So you still got feelings about it?
I don't got feelings about it, but when it's time to go, it's go time.
Ain't no white folks here.
Wait, so it didn't arise today? It didn't arise today. We didn't have Nazis marching in Chicago and in Minnesota and a bunch of other places, slapping people, shoosting them, taking their lives in SS Gestapo Reglia. We didn't have that. We didn't have a multi-billionaire saluting the people in the crowds with the fascist salute at the presidential inauguration party, and they saluted back. And then these same people are all on this nasty, disgusting list. And to think about it, not only are they on this nasty, disgusting list, they're the people that we've been talking about all day. They're the octogenarians, the septuagenarians, the 50 plus, the Gen Xers that are continually trying to marginalize and take away our futures and the futures of our children. But it's just okay because it's not 1826, right? It's okay that it's not 1826. It's not 1926. It's not 1996. It's 2026 and it's still going on today. And people are still pretending like, oh, well, if I was there, I would have done something. You're not doing anything now. You're not doing anything about it now. I'm trying to do something about this. I am trying to get all of you that are in this chat and that come to this show and the other shows that we all put on every single day to do something about it. I am trying to drag the attention away from the grift, and sift all of the garbage out of our society each and every single day so that we can all get somewhere. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm training The people that I'm around are also training in one way or another, because this society cannot continue to function the way that it functions, especially when we are sitting back and taking it. Leaning over and bending over for them and letting them do it to us. I'm not going to be one of those people. I'm not going to bend over for you. I'm not going to go and get the Vaseline or the Diddy baby oil for you. I'm not going to do it. You can if you want to, but they're not going to touch ours. They're not gonna. All power to the people. All of it. Not some of it, all of it. We're the ones that make this country go around. Not you. The billionaires, the millionaires, they don't make the country go around. The people that get up every single day to go to work are the ones that make the country go around. That's why the billionaires have money. That's why. This crop, this is not the cream of the crop that we are dealing with right now. People are soft. People are soft. People are scared. People are conquered. People are compliant. Why? Why are you soft? Why are you scared? Why are you compliant? Why don't you get out on the street and learn something? Do something. Toughen yourself up. Hit a heavy bag. Stop taking the scraps when you can have it all. What's stopping us from having it all? Nothing. Except people that, oh, y'all can have a little bit of this and y'all be happy with your slice of the pie. No. If it happened today, those people are going to be on the other side with the enemy. It's not friendly fire. I am mowing it down to get them out of the rest of our way. Classic said, Tez, I'm not dying for this batch of ninjas. I'm freelance folk. This is already cooked. That's my point. You see? Somebody who could probably be a general in a revolutionary army decides that it's not worth fighting for because the people suck. Isn't it happening right now? Didn't the price of rent go up? The price of homes, the price of gasoline, the price of food, the fact that we had an egg crisis, a crisis about eggs, some of the cheapest goods known to man in all time. Matter of fact, if you guys didn't know, the reason why eggs became a staple is because they were plentiful and because they were cheap. And because they were plentiful and cheap, just about everybody could have them. People started cooking with them to thicken their food, to make their food a little bit more hearty, because the egg proteins that are inside of that egg build. And I mean, it's designed to build an entire creature, right? So of course, about 8 of them is gonna do some wonders for your pectoral muscles. Maybe not so much for your cholesterol, but your pectoral muscles most definitely will bulge a little bit. A little bicep action while you backhoeing and tilling the field. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of calluses on your fingers from picking. Just it's what happened. If you worked. That's what happened. I'm just saying. So what do you want to talk to me for? What do you want to talk about? Because I talk about the same things all the time.
Here's why I say you still got feelings about it, 2K. If a list came out today of all the descendants of whoever we talking about from the past, and they still benefiting from the past, would you step if that list came out?
No, them people did nothing to me.
That list is already out.
Them people did nothing to me. Listen, bro, we can't. A lot of our uncles touch people in the family. Do you go kill off their bloodline? That's your bloodline. No,
they stopped me.
No. You give.
McKinnon Marketing says progress has never, ever occurred with unanimity. Progress has only happened by the removal of people. I'll read that again. Progress has never occurred with unanimity. Simply by banding together is not going to do it. Singing Kumbaya in the street while we hold hands and chain ourselves together so the trees don't get cut down is not going to stop it from happening. Progress has only happened by the removal of people and or dragging the rest, kicking and screaming into progress, period. It is violent. It is not fun. It's a lot of work, and people are not built for it. I'm built. I'll be fine. But will you? Will your children? Will your families? Will they be okay if we came knocking at your door? There are some strategic partnerships that can be made in this type of situation. But as you've seen from the excerpts so far, there isn't very much that can happen or be done when people refuse to stand up for anything, including themselves and their family.
You give that the next generation of a fair chance. Why wouldn't I do the same for another group of human beings? Because they are different color?
You too graceful, my nigga.
Grateful,
you
bro.
too graceful, folks.
In the example you gave, 2K, the family stopped me.
Let them eat cake.
So that's who you're talking to.
You 22, my guy. I got grace for you because you don't understand yet. But you
how come I don't?
You ain't, bro. You ain't got the lived experience.
What you mean, folks? Niggas can grow up faster than you think, bro. I'm from Chicago too, gang.
Hey, that one thing about time is just time.
I mean, nigga, time ain't real, folks. So what we really talking about?
Okay.
That's a bar.
Nigga said time ain't real, but I bet he got a clock right now that he referred to.
That's the end of that. I already put you guys in there. I'm going to comment on this one last time. I'm here every single day, 24 hours, every single day. It's easy to reach me. It's easy to find me. If you want to learn something, I am here to help you learn about it. I am here to teach if you are willing to listen, but I'm also not going to be somebody that sticks my neck out for the masses when people aren't doing their own job and taking care of their own stuff. I'm just not going to do it. You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? Can't even get a panel of all of us to agree on one thing, that we need to band together to make things better. Can't even do that right. So what makes me think I'm going to be able to get the masses to do it? I don't. But the people that I am able to influence, the people that I am able to change, the people that I am able to inform about what's going on and empower them to do the same things, I'm going to do that. And that's why we're here. This is the TezDown. Sports unscripted, culture unfiltered. I got one more comment from McKinnon. McKinnon says, I'm glad you pumped it up to 80% because I was about to say 75% isn't much of a goal with most people, and it isn't. I appreciate you guys for coming down here today, and for everyone that comes in on this rewatch, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share the video, and we'll be back in 24 hours with another one. Make sure you guys check out all the constituents that we had named today, including one very last one that we did not post yet. These guys are live right now. If you want more on this breaking stories with politics and what's going on, please make sure that you head on over to our buddies at the Ben Podcast. Where'd it go? Please head over. As you guys can see, I am right there too. Please head on over to our buddies at the Ben Podcast. They are live right now. Let's go show them some love. I don't know how to migrate the chat. And because I don't know how to migrate the chat, you guys are going to have to do it yourselves. But thank you so much. Make sure you guys catch Classic this afternoon. And this has been Tez. I'm 2-4. This is the TezDown.
I'm the Tez. I'm the Tez.
Welcome to the TezDown. Welcome.
I'm the Tez.
Mic check 1 2. Welcome. Welcome to the TezDown. Party time.